this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the World. Today we're going to bring you a nice little experience video today. I thought this bonus video will be an interesting thing. I would call it a book stroll, part 1, because I will go through, it's mostly for the artwork, my comics, graphic novel, manga, and novel collection. So there's a lot of those to go through. I'll probably start with the graphic novels and collections. I am going to go through them one at a time. So when we get to the comics, it might be a simple of like, okay, here's a bunch of New Mutants. Maybe a little bit of commentary as we go. They'll be pretty short videos. And I'll probably do these more sporadically, so I might get through this more quickly or less quickly than the others. These will be little bonus videos I pepper through because they'll be shorter, in some cases longer in others. So let's start with an art book. This is the Ranma 1/2 anime art gallery. I really do love this. I love the art of Rumiko Takahashi. A lot of cover art that you get to see, but a lot of other also art. As you can see here. And Ranma is about this martial artist and his father. They go to China to train, and he ends up falling into these cursed springs, so that whenever he's hit with cold water, he becomes a girl. Whenever he gets hit with hot water, he changes back. He's been kind of carted off to marry the daughter of his training partner, who actually opened a dojo, and they're supposed to do the dojo together. Now, and the one he's that's Ranma, of course. That's his female form, and that there is the one he's supposed to marry. Now, it's an interesting series, a lot of fun martial arts comedy. It's kind of shonen-y, but it has a lot of elements of other aspects as well, which to me it makes Rumiko Takahashi's work a little bit more applicable to the public, and you'll see a little bit more of her work as we cut to the future. So, speaking of guidebooks and art books, here is a SpiderMan Ultimate Guide, written by Tom DeFalco. It's a pretty old guide. I was huge into comic books for a while. I was into comic books more than I was into movies for a long time. But you got a lot of the, it goes through a lot of characters, a lot of backstory, a lot of different art styles. It doesn't include a lot of recent stuff, because this was, when was this published? This was published, this is probably given to me as a gift. Though I did like reading through it. I don't know when it was published, but it was published a number of years ago. I'd say at least 20 years ago. At least. So, yep. So we get into the Ultimate XMen. I didn't collect a lot of this, but I thought I would, I got at least the first hardback. I didn't collect any of the actual individual comics. I feel like the Ultimate World was their way of just resetting, like DC does. And it was alright. I didn't mind the Ultimate Universe. It was kind of fun. I liked the Ultimate Spider-Man pretty well. It was a different take. It really was. And it wasn't that bad. Speaking of, here's one of the hard books for that. Yeah, when we get into the original comic collection, I doubt I'll be removing them from the bags, because I do have them in like protective bags, but I will show off the art on these. So, again, they were pretty well drawn, and the Ultimate Universe was interesting, and they did bring some people out of that. Was Miles Morales a part of the Ultimate Universe? I stopped reading before they got to him, so I wasn't sure. This was given to me as a gift, and it was pretty cool, which was Marvel 1602, which is it goes back in the past, and takes a lot of Marvel characters that you know and converts them into historical times, which is kind of interesting. I did enjoy it. It was well worth checking out and reading. So it was a really good birthday gift. I got this from a friend, and to this day I enjoy a reread of this now and again. Alright, I don't know where the covers are to these, but I do still have this, which is the Kevin Smith run of Green Arrow, which they had in hardback. Kevin Smith is a very good writer, and I really like the storyline that they ran. It's probably one of my favorite Green Arrow storylines. So if you're a Kevin Smith fan, this is a must. He was always big into comics, so this was a huge thing for him at the time, because he was able to actually write for a comic. So this was a huge thing for him. Imagine reading them all your life and then finally getting to write for them. It's just that cool. So, then we have this Batman Superman title. This one introduced us that version of Supergirl. And as you can see, it's a pretty cool. And they did a lot of these. They did this comic compilation where they combined the two, and they also had Apocalypse involved, as you can see down here on the back. The art was really good. Jeff Loeb does great art. And just in general, it's a pretty awesome book. Last but not least is part 1 of this Todd McFarlane's Spawn compilation. I need to get more of these in the future, because I liked Spawn reasonably enough. It was very wordy, as you can see. You gotta do a lot of reading with Spawn. But still, it was an interesting comic. It was really one of the first ones to break free of the Marvel stranglehold when it came to comics and artists. Because Marvel and DC, they held on to the properties that the artist created. And the artist kind of got shafted with that. So they formed Image. And Image was all about the artists owning their own material and still going forward as a group. So that was what that was about. Now, a lot of people had accused McFarlane of ripping off Spider-Man, but Spawn is his own guy. The look was very Spider-Man-ish, but regularly, they did a pretty good job of it being its own guy. So that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed this little bonus, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.